Good morning. It looks very formal, so I'll say a few words to make a beginning. Otherwise, it should be informal, and we'll keep on chatting about the things that we can do together. First of all, I want to mention that this is an exciting moment for us because this is a month of victory. That's December each year. 16th of December, when the Pakistani army surrendered. So Bangladesh became an independent country. So we celebrate this whole month on this occasion. The celebration goes on. So this is a wonderful occasion that we get the chance to meet you together, all the EU ambassadors, both who are here, based here, or those who are in Delhi. This is a very special occasion for all of us to have you together. And the fact that you could assemble entire EU delegations in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, it shows the support to Bangladesh, the political support, as well as economic support, moral support, and other supports. So this is something very rejuvenating for us, emerging out of a terrible situation that we had only hardly 4 months back, where students were killed in a large number, and in a point-blank way, almost. And that mobilized the whole nation together to bring down the previous government, where the Prime Minister of the previous government fled the country. And the student and people's uprising took place and bring this interim government to run the country until election is held and a new government is elected. So we are going through that process. But in the meantime, the excitement of the moment, after 16 years of repression and denial of all the rights, human rights and everything else, and also forced disappearances, very painful stories one after another, bringing the whole economy in a situation where it's almost collapsing. Banking system hardly functions. We appointed a white paper committee to kind of document what the interim government inherited from all this as an economy, as obligations, and so on. And they just submitted that report. I hope you had a copy of that. So, yeah, and have a copy of that. So you see in the documentation how things were at that moment. Is unbelievable kind of thing that the report says. Billions of dollars worth of money has been siphoned off from the country each year. And country is left with a devastated economy, devastated banking system, devastated condition of foreign exchange, and so on. So these are documented so that we don't have to speculate about it. And now we can go back into the numbers and see which was tally with each other. And our efforts were just from day one is to bring order into the system, the economic system and so on. To see if we can take care of our obligations, international obligations, payment obligations and so on. And also see if our banking system can put in action again back into the order. There are strict rules were formulated so that banks come in to follow certain rules, and that meant depositors couldn't withdraw the money they wanted to get back from their own deposits. That made them very unhappy that we can't take the money out. The governor of the central bank was trying to see, I'm trying to keep all the banks alive so they don't have to shut down any bank. So that will create some hardships, hopefully temporary, he said. But luckily, that temporary period is over. Now, from this month, is almost done that you can withdraw your money as you wish. So that's an improvement that you can do this. Still, we have not shut down any bank because that may create another chain effect in the whole banking system. So the banks are functioning. Our foreign exchange reserves is increasing, luckily, and we are making payments. So that's the kind of transformation that took place. The reason I was mentioning the initial condition is it started in a kind of a situation of total devastation, both in financial terms and also in human terms, also in law and order terms. Many were speculating that there will be a lot of bloodshed, right? Immediately after the Prime Minister fled, there will be reprisals attack in a massive way. A huge number of people will be killed and so on. Luckily, that has not happened. But we hear that some random cases of attacks, particularly to minority communities, and we wanted to make sure that we identify them and make sure they're safe, whoever the families and so on. So that was our initial efforts. And the law and order situation went down because these are the police who the other day was killing everybody, the kids. And these are the kids from the same city. So it's not some police coming from another city killing them. It's the same police, same city, same people. They know the neighbors. So the police were afraid to go on the street because people were very angry at them. So it took time to put a police force on the street so that they can carry on the law and order responsibilities and so on. Today, I would say after 4 months, I think some order has been put in the police force, that they are taking orders and they can going back to their work. So discipline has come back. So that's an improvement over four months. And then we started talking to our partners like yourself, European Union and so on, to see how to revisit all the deals we had in the past and all the agreements that we had in the past, how to make sure that we get a support, financial and economic support to make the economy run again, start functioning again. And in other sectors, in social sectors and so on, technology sectors, how to make things happen. Immediately after we came to the government, the United Nations General Assembly took place. We came in August, it was in September, so next month. And I had a chance to meet many heads of governments and also ministers, officials during that. And I saw lots of warm feeling from Bangladesh. That makes us feel very happy because we didn't know how the international community felt about the whole thing. So that reassured us and encouraged us. And one of the most striking contact that we had was with Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen. She was very warm and I had a lot of discussions, explained everything what's happened. The message she gave me that we'll be with you, and she said we are familiar with what you are going through in terms of corruption, because I was highlighting the corruption part of it, and also in terms of renewable energy. These are the two issues she picked up immediately. She said we know about corruption because when we started the European Union, many of our countries were not as clean as you would like to have. So we have to go through the cleaning process together so that they can be part of the European community, European Union. So we have all that knowledge and policies and technology to make that happen. And we'll be very happy to support you. So this is one. And on other issues is that we'll be very happy to provide the assistance that you need. And I'll tell my colleagues to follow it up. And I suggested that I said it would be a good thing if you can find one individual person who can be the key person for it, because it's a huge group of people. so that also within the government, there's so many diverse sides of the government. One person could communicate with everybody, and we can communicate with this one contact person. So he said, yes, we can do that. So that's how whole thing began, and I was very happy that its responses were very warm. When I came back, many of you came to see me, carry the same message back to me, and so on. And Michael, His Excellency Michael Miller, is the one who said that he has been appointed as a contact person, key person to negotiate with you and get through the whole process. And out of this idea came that can we get together? And this is how we are getting together today, so that we shall sit face to face and kind of exchange what we can do, what are the upcoming issues for us, priorities for us, and clarify anything that you need to know, and so on. So this will be one thing. And the fact that you came also a good message for the country. I must tell you, this is a very important month for us, and this month you didn't need to choose this month, but it happened that way. It gives a good message for the whole country. Because in the meantime, something else happened, which I must mention to you. We had a campaign of misinformation, global campaign. It's a very powerful campaign. And we are struggling to cope with that. That Bangladesh is calm, Bangladesh is going ahead with this mission and so on. It's not the kind of image this campaign is trying to give us. And the fact that you came, also a message that is not too bad for everybody to come here. So you came and you have a discussion here. So we are very happy with that. But we seek your support, how to deal with this misinformation, if you have any suggestions and anything that we can do to cope with it, because it's hurting us a lot in an international thing. Internally, people don't believe in that. We understand that the group who fled from the country, and not only the Prime Minister, followers of our party, top followers of our party left the country. Some are hiding, still hiding. Some are staying around, but not make themselves visible. But they try to take an opportunity to destabilize the country. And since all these billions of dollars they have transferred outside, they control that money. So they can use this money to mobilize things which to destabilize the country. So the campaign, both outside and inside campaign, will begin. And this is a kind of, again, very harmful to us. The Prime Minister who left the country, she's still speaking to the people of the country by television, by videos, by international presentation of her voices, in, for example, in New York televisions and so on. So that kind of create tense situation in Bangladesh, that she's still being heard by other people and so on. People felt that we must demonstrate the unity of all of us in Bangladesh. And I'm very happy all the political parties, every single political party get together. It's not common in Bangladesh for all political parties to get together and say we are one. We may have disagreements with each other, but when it comes to the solidarity of the nation, we are one. So they all came in one place and repeated this. Each one spoke on this issue and expressed their solidarity in this difficult moment. And we also invited all the leaders of the religious groups, including the Muslims. It's not just only the minorities were called, majority were left out. So majority, minority, all communities were invited. And they also committed their commitment that they are united. And all the propaganda and the misinformation about the minorities, they will be fighting for that. And they will still stay behind us to make sure that we can continue to be a family, irrespective of what religion, what political leanings that you may have. So this is the message we try to get across. And people in general, all over the country, felt that way. So that strong sense of unity exists at this moment right now. But one issue that comes back, I'm sure in the discussion it will come back to, when is the election? All said and done, we need an election. And particularly political parties are very interested in holding the election. We are also interested in holding the election. But I'm trying to explain to people every time I get a chance to do that, that when this interim government was created, the two responsibilities were assigned to them. One is holding the election, of course, because you have to transfer the power to elected government. Two, at the same time, reformed the whole apparatus of the nation and policies and institutions and so on. So right from the beginning, we immediately pay attention to the reform part. We formed 15 different commissions, each one addressing a particular part of the reform agenda. And we expected that by the end of December or by the middle of January, hopefully we'll start getting the reports, depending on when they were created. There's add 90 days more, then they could get it. Like we created their white paper committee, they completed their 90 days and the report submitted that report and made public. Now others will be coming up almost by the end of the month. Regularly you're receiving those reports coming up. So what I explained to people that look, if you have to have the election, there are certain reforms that have to be finished before the election. There's an election reform commission already. So we have to wait for their report so that we can incorporate it in the election process. If you hold the election now, it will be the old-fashioned election, and all the old-fashioned problems may come back. So, and you all promised to avoid the old-fashioned problems. You committed yourself to have a new Bangladesh. That's the commitment. So new Bangladesh needs new policies, new institutional framework, new way of dealing with people and so on. So this is what we are waiting for. So I said these two processes are moving in the same direction towards the goal. If the election procedure, election process and all the reforms of election are done, we'll be ready for election. But all the reforms may not be done yet. So I'll ask the question to the nation, whether you'll wait for further reforms or you'll go ahead and have the election. Just up to you to choose. This is the choice I will give you. But they want the date. I said, I can't give you the date now. I can only say that this is the process which is going on. So this is the direction we are going. We can come up with some kind of announcement this month, how the process will go and where we expect these to end, this kind of thing. So this is in that process. People understand it when the political parties meet us. Publicly, they talk about immediate election, but when we meet privately, they are very friendly and they said, yes, we understand, but we don't want you to delay it because it may create problem for everybody. We said, we understand that too. We are not going to delay it purposefully, but this is the thing that we will put on the table in front of you and you judge. We will not do anything without consulting you. So this is our task. We are not somebody impose anything on you. That's not us. What you will guide us, we'll go accordingly, but we'll tell you what you want. So sometimes we feel that politicians are, I wouldn't say all politicians, but some political parties, eager to have the election without reform. That's the kind of tension creates that the broad population wants the reform, and the students who give their lives, they very much want the reforms to be done. So we are kind of a situation where we have to bring all these ideas together and create a consensus for that. So see that it's acceptable, although you're not terribly happy, but it's acceptable, but you sacrifice something, gain something, something like that. So we are entering that phase now also to do that. So this is just to give you the background of the election part of it, political part of it. Definitely, we are moving in that direction, and very steadily we are moving into it, and we keep in track with all the political parties. The interim government has a regular feature of discussing with the political parties. People are assigned to contact them and brief them from our side, they brief us from their side. So we try to combine both sides and see it doesn't, some point it doesn't explode somewhere. That's what we don't want. This is not the government which can head for any explosion in the country. So our job is to keep the cool and make this election process go and happy ending, so that everybody is happy with the election process and so on. There are problems on the election. We are probably familiar with that. For 3 consecutive elections, people really didn't vote. So the whole apparatus of the election procedure is totally collapsed. So voter list and young people who became first-time voters, for example, never could vote. And for 3 consecutive ones, they couldn't vote, the first group of people. The second group of people who will be becoming the first-time voters this time, they couldn't vote either, so you're adding to that. Third-time voters, they couldn't vote either. So there's a whole group of generation of young people who have not gone to the polling booth and cast their votes. They're all excited to vote for the first time in their life and see how it feels like to vote. This is one, in how to make this electoral rolls, electoral voter list, make sure everybody is included. They are not excluded, because voter list and so on was not done in a proper way, because they were not having an election in a proper way either, so they didn't mind that. So we want to make sure everything is properly done. And then we made a promise during the entire period, not us, all of us combined, promises that the overseas Bangladeshis will also be allowed to participate in the election, which they were never done before. It was a very dear kind of wish for the overseas Bangladeshis that for the first time will be able to vote. Because whatever happens in Bangladesh, we immediately feel it, we immediately responded, but somehow we don't have a voice in the political affairs of Bangladesh because we are not voters. So this we promised that this time we'll do that. So that will need another kind of extension of the voter list and so on. So make that happen. So these are the things, but we are not saying this is an impossible task. We're saying this is a little time consuming. But we don't want to consume so much time that people get so impatient they don't want any reform, just have hold the election, get it out. We want not to get to that. So this is the situation. We want to make sure that the human rights are established for everybody, including all the minority communities and all other communities. This is our #1 priority for the government, because this government is composed of very interesting people, the advisors. Some of them were the activists and human rights activists, spent time in jail for his activism and so on. Still he's an activist. And some of them are women rights activists, some of them environmental activists. These are all activists, not only activist leaders, they're also the founder of the organizations they lead. So these are very important people in Bangladesh in terms of their campaign for the work and so on. So we have to make sure that they are also happy with what we're doing because of the strict way they want to see the nation proceeds in the next step. So this is another combination that we have to make sure that we can accommodate everything from around the country, at the same time the group that we have within the government itself. So this is it, and the economic part is still we have to work together, and that's why we need your help, tremendous help on the technology side, particularly on the corruption fighting. If you want to understand the corruption, I think the white paper would be a good, I shouldn't use the word Bible, it's kind of a documentation of what kind of corruption goes in the country. That's on the government side. There are many other private side also, but these are the documented government side corruption, that is a massive amount of corruption. it's not stealing, it's just plain robbery in front of everybody else. For example, a whole bank is taken over. Best try threatening their board members to resign and put new members to get in, and bank is taken over by some group of people with the support of the government and so on. So these are the kind of things. It's a daylight robbery kind of situation in the big banks and so on. So that's where we have to make sure that we bring discipline, we bring order. Our ready-made garments industry, which is our key industry, they are the top ones, which is very well known, became dysfunctional because the owners fled and the companies can't pay the salary of the wages of the employees, huge number of employees, one company. The group has more than 40,000 employees, don't pay. So we are trying to pay, because they are demonstrating on the street, destroying work plants, factories nearby, forcing the labor from the other factories to join them, in the process destroy their factories and so on. So we have to make a deal that we will pay the salary from the government until we can find a way to how to make it work. So this is the kind of situation came not because something economically happened, simply owners disappeared because they belong to the group which disappeared from the ruling group. So this is where we are, but we have not given up. We continue to proceed and we'll find solutions to problems that we have. So we will, that's where we are. I think I have to make a long statement. I thought I'll stop quickly, but now I gave you a little background where we are coming from. So I'll stop here and let you proceed. Thank you.